What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a great weekend, and that you had also a good week in the market last week. So as you know, if you are new, this is a weekly market analysis, basically just trying to take a look into different assets from FX, US indices, commodities, including gold, petrol, oil, and a little bit of crypto as well. All right, so let's take a look into it. Basically, we're going to look a little bit at the news, try to see what kind of events are going to happen next week that can have an impact in the market. Of course, many of the events that we have had recently, they are not reflected in the calendar. What I'm talking about is basically the tariffs from Trump, or the negotiation or the response from China towards Trump as well. So that has been one of the big catalysts that has moved the market, creates a lot of volatility in the market. So let's just jump into the calendar. By the way, if you do have any asset that you'd like me to take a look into it, feel free to let me know in the comments, and we can take a look at it together. So when you're looking at the calendar in here for this week, basically just pop up in here the calendar. First and foremost, let's start with last week. Last week, the main big news, it was interest rate decision in New Zealand, cut from 3.75 to 3.5%. So New Zealand continues its trajectory of cutting rates. After that, we had basically the main catalyst for last week, it was the US CPI, which was actually lower than expected. Okay, so this is actually good news. Good news in the US, in theory, right? Because the inflation is actually going lower than it was expecting a 0.1% on a monthly basis. It was actually negative, minus 0.1, and from 2.8 to 2.4% inflation. So that's good. Now, this is not reflecting anything yet in regards to the tariffs, which most likely we can eventually see the inflation going higher as soon as these tariffs become more real and actually they are implemented. So at this point, it's just in China. All the rest, basically, it was the delay that was the big news actually of the week. It was when Trump announced the 90-day postponing plan of the tariffs across all the remaining of the countries except China, because China is actually the one that has been retaliating and also imposing new tariffs in the US, which is one of the reasons why it stays there. Based on what Trump said and the White House said, is that many countries, after the initial plan, they're trying to get in touch with the White House, trying to renegotiate or basically remove any tariffs on the US, which include then basically trying to find a deal, an agreement with the US. So we have that situation. There was a big move. That was basically the biggest move actually in the Nasdaq, the third biggest move in a day on the S&P. That was Wednesday. Also, we had a big move to the downside as well on the dollar since then, it went below 100 after maybe the last 2 years, which is interesting. Aside from that, we had the PPI yesterday. It was also quite negative. So what does it mean, right? What does it mean having the inflation moving lower? This basically proves that what the Fed is doing in terms of keeping the rates high, it's actually working. There is no need, or there hasn't been any need to actually push the inflation or to start cutting rates while continuing to see the inflation moving to the downside. And because of the potential risk that there is still in regards to the tariffs, maybe that's going to continue to move or to keep the Fed following the original plan, which is for now no rate cuts for the next meeting in May, and then in June most likely may have the first rate cut. Now, without this uncertainty that's been going on, There was a moment actually this week, for example, that the odds for a first rate cut was actually above 50%. So there was a moment, not mistaken, on Wednesday, I prefer the announcement from Trump, that there was a high probability that the Fed would actually, or the market was looking for the Fed would happen in May. After the announcement, back to normality, and we'll see down what's going to happen afterwards. So this was the big sell-off on the dollar. We are starting here analyzing the dollar index because of the importance of the dollar index in regards to other assets. So you can always use that information as a correlation as well to other assets. And there you go. We had a big sell-off. Again, nothing of a surprise. If you actually have been following the channel, if you have analyzed or looked at the way I've been predicting eventually the direction of the dollar. Initially it was mostly to retrace back closer to this level, which price was actually already basically reacting from last week. But after that, last week actually were looking for price to continue to push lower. We talked about that scenario where price could eventually go slightly higher and still respect somewhere around this structure. To be honest, that's where I was looking a bit more to see if we are going to have that move, but that didn't happen. Price just kept respecting this structure. We actually started breaking below this low, got into this bigger compression, and then you had that move touched and the move to the downside. So that's basically what we had last week on the dollar index. So going below the 100 mark, as you can see, now trading below 99. As you can see, the 100 mark is a level that has been respected for quite a long time, or basically used as support resistance, and then eventually becoming either support or resistance, and becoming support, and becoming resistance and becoming support again, right? So that has been a key level, and now we broke it, right? We are retesting these levels in here for the first time since 2022, basically April or something like that, 2022. And yes, now the question mark is, until where are we going to be looking at this dollar to continue to push lower, or are we going to have any kind of retracement? I think this kind of opens the door a little bit to go even further down. We do have a little bit of this structure that maybe price can respect a little bit, but then I wouldn't be surprised if the dollar index actually continues to push a little bit lower, maybe even below these lows, and potentially starting to see something around this level in here, or even something straight away as it breaks below those lows. So something that we need to start doing now is to keep track or try to analyze within these levels where potentially are those fresh levels, where are those demand zones that were left behind, maybe some support resistance zones in here that price can eventually respect as well. So those are just a few things that as an exercise you can start doing it. This is basically one of them, which price already reacted from. That's exactly where price right now, as you can see here, that's exactly where price is reacting, or reacted last Friday, and then there can be some others. This one here, somewhere around here, can be one of them, and then most likely price can just target out this triple low and go below that and perhaps react somewhere around here. So that yeah, that's a little bit of zone by zone. Eventually, if I actually want to talk a little bit more of a bigger picture situation, eventually the dollar index can even, yeah, it could even target and go somewhere closer to this level. Right, so it could go even a little bit lower. Can eventually fill out this and get a little bit closer to this zone in here. So what we may have in here at this point is, even if you do have some kind of retracement on the dollar index, maybe that's going to be just a retracement before price continues to push forward. So that's something to bear in mind in here on the dollar index. Of course, we can try to be a bit more precise in here, just to try to track the previous level of support resistance. We do have that zone just above it, which price kind of respected quite a few times as well. So that's something to bear in mind. And yeah, we may have some kind of demand zone in there that price could eventually react. What we have now recently, so basically we have this move, price kind of move lower, respected a little bit of this previous level of support. For instance, if you're looking at the previous low, okay, and yeah, perhaps there's still that level, and also price at this point is still reacting from this supply. So we already have kind of a double bottom in here. All right. Yeah, we need to see. I think overall, I think we're going to have more bearishness. I think price does want to continue to move a little bit lower. We may have this demand zone in here. We may have a little bit more in the lower time frame. Also, still a level that price could eventually react from. So that's going to be something to pay attention. But it looks like that we do have maybe two levels in here that price could still bounce. Basically 1 and 2. So that will be second. So that could be eventually two zones where eventually the dollar could react from. But what we have in here as well is price basically creating this supply and price at this point respecting those levels. And then of course we may have this extra level slightly higher that eventually could fake out also this top in here. So, and then of course we do have that one slightly higher, which is also a potential good level, because this is basically the supply that actually managed to break below all those lows in here on the left side. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on dollar index. So I'll be okay with yeah, potentially looking for one of these levels to react, where I'm still a bit more bearish than looking for a big reversal, and that's going to be looking for. Yeah, if price continues to move forward, then I'll keep tracking a little bit to see where price is reacting on the left side, and with that I'll be adjusting the new levels as price continues. Like, so when you are looking at when price is literally in a bearish trend like it is right now, or if it was in a bullish trend, as a counter trend trader that I am, I always need to be a bit more conservative before jumping into the market, because price, when you're looking at the 4-hour time frame or daily time frame, price can easily just continue to maybe retrace intraday, but kind of on a daily time frame, just keep creating the lows, just a small retracement, just keep creating, and eventually you'll feel all this level in here, just similar to what happened in here. Kind of price just going range a bit and then continues to push even lower or something even in here. So it's nice just to see how price kind of just keeps going. So you need to be a little bit conservative until eventually price starts getting a little bit closer more to this lows in here. That doesn't mean that's not going to be opportunities to buy as price is moving down, but we need to wait perhaps for more confirmation or be more aggressive with the way you are trading or managing your trades. Okay, moving along, let's take a look at US indices, because that's also something to look at. So this was actually the day that we had that announcement from Trump, the postponing the tariffs. It was the biggest day, or the third biggest day in the intraday on the S&P, and I think maybe the biggest on the Nasdaq ever. Okay, it's just ever. And these were just a few other levels that I was looking for. So after price actually made that big move to the upside, I was trying to see if price eventually would go a little bit lower. So this was just stopped in here. I was looking for price to get closer to here to potentially look for longs. It may still happen. So that's one of the levels that can still work. Again, price was reacting and is reacting from a good level. I already talked about that one last week. So price indeed reacted from a good level. Overall in here, it was potentially good opportunities, nice QM levels in here. And then basically the big reversal. Price also came all the way back, so basically respecting that previous support resistance all the way back in here to now respect this one as well, which means that I'm still curious to see eventually how price may actually react from around this direction here, and price can even go slightly higher into that zone. So we are basically stuck a little bit within this level, and I'm going to be curious to see how price eventually is going to react around this structure. It's going to range a little bit again, or it's going to start trying to break highs and go higher, or it's going to again find maybe something in here and start pushing lower, eventually challenging those lows. So that's what we have in here on the S&P. That's basically directions for both. The possibility for both sides for price to move towards until we eventually get a little bit more of a proper direction. Something to bear in mind is actually the last two times that we had, the biggest 2 days that we had on the S&P, it was both in October 2008, around the house market crisis, and in both occasions we actually had a new level being created before potential price turned. Okay, so even if you had this big massive move to the upside in the previous two other approaches, there was still a new level being created. So more intraday in here at this point on the S&P. Nasdaq also kind of slightly higher in here. Nasdaq had already started to give a little bit of indication here that potentially we would like to go higher. Also, it's reacting from a good level on the left side. We already know that. We took a look at it already last week. And I'm just curious to see how price may react around this level. Well, it can still go higher. Don't forget that this top in here that was created, this was the moment that Trump announced the tariffs on the 2nd of April. All right, so there's maybe still orders left behind at around this price that maybe price does want to go there before potentially moving lower again. Okay, maybe this is kind of a level of supply where there were maybe orders left behind around that level in the moment of the announcement that maybe price wants to slowly move towards there before moving to the downside. Maybe tired, guys. It's kind of a little bit of yamming here. And yeah, the S&P is exactly the same thing, so it's exactly the same level in there. So both of them, eventually price could move towards there to see what could how price eventually is going to react. I'm curious about that level. It's one of the levels that I will definitely pay attention to that can lead into a new short. Let's see if we're going to get there this week or not. And yeah, Nasdaq already look at it, and the Dow is quite similar. It can even go there as well. So similar to Nasdaq as well, reacting actually similar to S&P, still reacting from within this level. So yeah, Dow as well kind of reacting a little bit from this level. Can even also fake out the stop in here and still find some selling pressure without even going all the way up at this point. The same way that he can potentially have some reaction even within this top as well. So yeah, that's what we have in here. DAX also after that big sell-off that it happened, I came all the way back to test this lows in here, which is an interesting level of structure, and yep, all the way supply, and then kind of all the way into the demand basically, and that's what we have. So we'll see what will happen more at around this level, and what DAX will do. FTSE 100 also, yeah, I think eventually wants to go lower, but for now also ranging a little bit in here. We can take a look at crypto. Crypto is actually reacting quite positively as well. So Bitcoin managed to respect the double bottom at 74 something, so under retest of the previous high back in March. Basically, price now retested that low one time, and then it ended up respecting it again, which was interesting, and that can create a little bit of bullishness. We had already some breakout structure in here. Price then fake out the low, And what we have after that is basically price trying to potentially attempt to go higher. Price respected the top, it went down, broke the low, respected the zone on the left, and now it's coming up again, getting closer to this maybe 88, 87, and eventually can even go to 290. Of course, the break above this level in here can, or many people I believe are going to turn bullish, which is going to be an interesting pricing point to pay attention. We actually can draw some kind of trend line in here as well, which price may be respecting it. And after the break, you can actually go all the way, right? We can eventually go, maybe hold a little bit more. Yeah, maybe we'll go a bit more and then try to go and then finally break to the upside and just go. So we'll see if something like that will happen or not. Of course, can always be the retest into here and then go. That's going to be an interesting one. But the reality is that we do have this. This one. We do have this trend line, and price has been holding it. And if you do break that, maybe we can have more momentum upwards. Yeah, so it's an important one to track for sure. Yeah, looking at the Ethereum, also trying to move upwards. Again, we got pretty close to that level that we talked about. It even went below it, to be honest. Even we could even go there as well. Now it was passing this low. And what we have in here is a little bit of a reversal pattern as well, because we start eventually breaking a little bit of destruction here. Even if you want to be a bit more precise, at least on this 1 hour time frame, you want to try to start breaking that one. And then you have the fake out, and then price goes, breaks again at top. It still misses the potential final target, which is this next level of structure, and then go down. Respect this one more time. Yeah, the possibility in here can be towards this value in here. Price went up, retested demand, now moving upwards, retested the supply in here. So basically, demand being respected, supply being respected. So we'll see what will happen. Eventually could go a little bit higher. We also have Solana also gaining momentum, basically respected a little bit of this demand zone. It was not about level, to be honest. And since then, basically just moving upwards. A few levels in here have been already touched, which means it started to be a little bit weaker. We also may have perhaps some kind of trend line in here. Yeah, not exactly. Yeah, so Solana is moving upwards. Interesting enough as well, looking at here at Ethereum Bitcoin, a good level that I'm looking for. Eventually, this is not a bad one within these flows, but then I'm really curious when price gets to this level, since that can be an interesting a long opportunity when looking at Ethereum Bitcoin. So maybe Ethereum going to gain momentum or really more momentum comparing with BTC. At this point, it's been completely the opposite. Bitcoin way stronger at this point. And we'll see. Now, looking at starting with FX again, looking at the currency indices, looking at the yen index. The yen index is reacting from this top, which eventually can even go higher, okay? Eventually can even continue and push higher. But maybe before that, actually may wants to go all the way, eventually close this gap or react from somewhere around here. So eventually can also do that. We had a nice reaction in here on this top from this high. Not the biggest fan. I actually was looking for price to go a little bit higher. A little bit higher, but price just stopped before that, basically reacted from the base of this of this level. Which means that after that, that's when you start moving or looking to see price moving to the upside on the other EN pairs. We start having already some break of structure here. So again, it was a little bit in alignment with everything we were looking for. I was just waiting for price to go a little bit more to the upside, but it was another good one that the price ended up reversing quite nicely and in alignment with individual EN pairs. When looking at the Euro index, well, this is a massive move overall across the Euro pairs. We had a massive move to the upside and price actually managed to break above this structure. I don't have any more data or info on the left side after that from this Euro index. So we'll see what will happen afterwards. So pricing and prospecting those lows, kind of as we talked about as well. And now it's curious to see if you're going to have any kind of reversal here, eventually continuation on the Euro index. Okay. Now, looking at individual currency pairs, starting with euro dollar. Euro dollar also at this massive move to the upside, similar to the dollar index moving to the downside and similar to the euro index move to the upside. So we continue and now looking maybe for price to go slightly higher. A good reaction from this level in here on Friday. I was looking already for price to go a little bit more to the upside, and after that, basically price can go, eventually can go all the way. We already had basically reaction already from here, so maybe price can have some kind of in there. But again, it's similar to what I mentioned in terms of the dollar index. It's going to be a period where we are going to be, or we're going to have to analyze what's going on the left side. Okay, so we're going to have to look left and try to see which levels are still fresh during this move to the downside. So that's going to be the levels we're going to try to look for some see price react from, try to see where the liquidity is as well, in order to try to identify those exact levels. Price already react from here, then if you can even go a little bit more. That's basically what we have. In here, a little bit more intraday. So we did manage to break that top, and then you have this structure as well. Price already kind of broke, we tested this level in here and moved to the upside a little bit. Now basically creating a little bit of a quasi model in here. But there we go. Let's see how price may react still within this level to see if there's more momentum or not to the upside. Similar to the dollar index, I think there's maybe still a zone somewhere in here that price can still react from as a short, even though basic price just reacted right now from this level as a long. But there you go. The potential is that the price can eventually go even higher to take this top, and after that you may find some bearishness. So just quickly, this is what we're seeing here on the euro dollar. Pound dollar, no, this is already, sorry. Pound dollar, good recovery, reacted nicely from this level, turn around in here, and eventually I wouldn't mind. Again, I've been actually waiting for pound dollar to go slightly higher, to be honest. There's maybe still this level in here where price is reacting, so price had already a little bit of that reaction. Price actually managed to break this low and basically reacting now from this level in here. But personally, I would like to see this pound dollar moving a bit more to the upside towards that level before. This is a continuation. This is a continuation. Again, we are reacting perfectly from this low, and eventually we could challenge even this top. I don't really think this top is kind of in the final destination. I think pound could even go even higher. But that's something to keep an eye on, to track, and we'll see what will happen in here. if there is a chance, if you bench start breaking below this level, or kind of, yeah, breaking below this level here, maybe this already is on enough. Yeah, then we can start moving lower, and maybe this top actually is going to hold. But personally, I would like to see it going a little bit more to the upside, somewhere closer to here. But there's still maybe some play to have around here. We did manage to break below this structure here, so again, it wouldn't be completely a surprise if pensions this will actually start holding price moves lower. Wouldn't be that big of a surprise. But I would, again, preferably, I think there's more chance that price can go higher first. Euro pound, this was another one. This was a nice move, and I think there's going to continue to be more chances to look for shorts as price is moving upwards. It was a massive move. There was many daily candles in a row with prices moving straight to the upside, and it approached this 70 here, which was quite good as well. So nice level of supply. It was fresh. Price reacted from it and it moved to lower, and basically already retesting from the previous support resistance as initial target. Yep, that was nice. I created also this kind of range. Price already breaking some lows in here, so I'm curious to see if price actually challenges again, get closer to this top. I think there's still opportunity to look for shorts. The same way that if price breaks slightly above the highs, I think there's opportunity also for price to continue to look for a short in there, at least for some selling pressure. Yeah, as a continuation to the upside, yeah, maybe somewhere from here, or eventually prices want to continue to push a bit more, it can also happen. Next, Aussie, what a recovery as well. So after that big sell-off, now recovering, kind of okay, I reacted from that low, and I'm curious to see also price may react from here. Do have that kind of that low top in there, but I think from where in here can be some selling pressure. Price is approaching, it's nicely moving towards this direction, or even a little bit more into there. So it's already kind of a selling pressure here. Now going higher, broke the high again, and I'm going to be curious to see how price may react from there. China has been one of the most affected as well. Not China, Aussie, because of the trade war that goes with China. So that has been affecting Aussie and New Zealand currency. And that's what we have seen. There's such a volatility, price moving up and down. That's exactly why. So yeah, setting up in here alerts to try to see how price eventually may react from this level. Yeah, I like the potential idea that you could have even a retracement before potentially, even if the idea is for price to continue to move higher, I think it could have some move lower before price going higher, which the move lower could even go even deeper than that, and then price eventually could go higher again. Yeah, so I'm going to be paying attention to that. Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie as well, super massive moves. You can see how aggressive that move was, but again, not exactly a big surprise. Then eventually price can even go a bit more to the upside as well. What else? I started to break some structure, maybe reacting from that demand zone. I was looking again for price to go a little bit more to the upside when this high was created. Unfortunately, price just picked out and moved forward. A nice move. Basically, now price ranging again between these levels. So you can see that price moved in here, then basically moved in there, back again in here, then back again in there. And now basically price is potentially doing something similar. So yeah, I'm more interested at this point looking a bit more for sells. If price goes higher, then looking for longs. At these prices. We can take a look at pound Aussie, which was also massive. Yeah, the pound Aussie also had a massive move all the way up, and then kind of a good recovery all the way back down towards this previous support resistance as well. And, yep, created that double top. That was nice, kind of overnight a little bit of reaction, and now moving down back into this demand zone. So again, really massive moves across the Aussie pairs. Yeah, it could continue to push forward. Already fake out in here. Let's see how price may react from this lows to see if it actually turns or if this is just now continuation for price to move over. Looking at the yen pairs, as we talked about, the yen index kind of turning to the downside and the dollar yen reacting a bit to the upside. So it's not about level, it's basically this daily or even weekly level that was fresh. That's basically where price is reacting. Eventually you can even go lower, but for now that was actually one of the last fresh levels in here, just on this daily time frame. And kind of 4 hours, there's already this big spike in here. Yeah, so what we have then is price needs to break above this level. You can even break above this high, but it's kind of this is key level has been holding price down as well, a good decision point. So we'll see what's going to happen around this level. It was already kind of a nice double bottom in here, reacted to go higher, didn't manage to break above this top, which can start leading into a bigger move. Euro yen is just in the complete range. Euro yen is actually the one that has been moving in a weird way, almost in a weird way, during this period of this last week, since tariffs and whatnot. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of this. I don't want to trade any type of price action like this. We just spike up, down, kind of range, spike up, down. Yeah, not interested whatsoever. On the end, a little bit more easy to understand in terms of the moves. It has been bearish, just following what the dollar also, or the pound in this case, and the yen as well doing. A good reaction from this demand zone, so we'll see what will happen next. Yeah, up to this point, not exactly. That hasn't been a pair that I've been looking to trade that much, so we'll see. Yeah, I do have this demand zone, but not exactly on my radar. Dollar CAD, this is an impressive move. So this was actually a call, a higher time frame perspective that we talked about. Since we basically managed to break below this level, many people were trying to look already for the breakout setup like this. We talked about the potential that price actually would go above this top before actually starting to look for sales, and it will be kind of somewhere in here or then closer in here to the left shoulder. And that's basically the play that was more in here. But this was indeed a break to the downside, and eventually dollar CAD eventually broke out this level of resist or support, sorry, and finally break it and move to the downside. So last week we were kind of looking as well within this level for potential move down. Price kind of in prospecting into the extreme and then moving forward. Is this the final destination? I don't really think so. I think actually dollar CAD can be in here for an interesting move all the way, even below this low. It could happen. So initially, of course, we have this wave of support resistance. Maybe price already bounced a little bit from there, and eventually can go all the way. Challenge this low. This was our kind of a break as well in here of this low. It's also broke above below that low. We can, who knows if eventually even goes towards this level in here, or even below that level towards here. Yep, which is also kind of a nice move underneath this low. Yeah, we'll see. I do like that. Pound CAD also volatile, a nice move to downside as well. and potentially can continue a little bit more. Yeah, it's kind of approaching now this middle zone with price ranging up and down, up and down. Yeah, the high, the top in there, that already played out. EuroCAD. EuroCAD also kind of followed the strong momentum on the euro pairs yesterday, reacted from the top and now moving lower. I'm all the way back in here to react from the top, and eventually can even go lower. Yeah, so we'll see what will happen around this level. That if it wants to continue with higher, there's also the possibility to go above here and eventually starting to aim more towards something in here. Dollar franc Swiss, that was another one that we talked about, and there you go. The sell-off, looking a bit for sales in here. Price had already broken some important lows in the bigger picture. And eventually the continuation to downside. So price kept respecting the top, kept respecting the top, kept respecting the top, and then it respected the top as well in here when it retraced. So basically holding this top in here, and after that price finally managed to gain momentum and pushing lower. I'm going to be tracking this compression to the downside. Eventually price may want to go close or back into this previous level. Okay, so that eventually is on that this dollar franc Swiss wants to go. So that's potentially a trade that eventually is going to be here to trade this move before potential price may wants to go lower again. You can of course create a new low before that, but I'm going to be tracking into to see if there's that opportunity to look for a potential trade in here. This is definitely a massive move down. It's due to the dollar as well. This will be moving lower. When looking at gold, what we're looking at gold in here. Gold broke new all-time highs again, and it just continues. We talked about that this was a good level where gold reacted from. Nice move in here, and since then just moving higher. It's another one to potentially keep tracking to see eventually when to have a retracement, with price potentially going into this structure in here. Yeah, so that's something to eventually look at. Yep, and even looking at oil, also really massive reaction from 54 all the way to 62, and basically reacting a little bit from this level. And again, curious to see price of oil actually respects that level or not. Again, it was a massive move. Good reaction where price is reacting. It already went below that zone. It can even go slightly lower. Of course, can continue eventually to this trajectory. But for now, it was not a bad zone. Also, kind of close to this structure, our previous structure in there on the left. And the PI in here was not bad neither. Price already started to break some tops and then created that fake out, and it pushed higher just like this. So yeah, nice move. So that's what we have. Basically, it's a little bit of uncertainty in the market, mostly due to the to find out. There's some issues. There's some issues, technical issues in terms of liquidity in the market. Big investors, big players are a little bit scared with what's going on. The uncertainty is still in play. It's not just because Trump decided to postpone for 90 days the tariffs that everything is sorted and there's no more issues. That's not true. There are issues and something to be aware of. Also, the situation with China continues. Eventually, they will come up with an agreement, right? They're not going to start going from 50% tariffs to 100% tariffs to 120, 130, 140 to 200, 400. They cannot be doing or carry on doing something like this. So eventually, they're going to come up with some kind of deal, which the market eventually is going to celebrate exactly that. But there are issues of liquidity in the market, so be careful with that, the big players. In terms of the market, there you go. We have a big move to the downside on the dollar. It's basically delayed. The US indices were the first one to react while that was happening, and now the dollar is actually moving lower. Is it going to continue? Maybe. It's something to continue to keep an eye on, to track, to see if that's actually the play and if that's going to continue. Also pay attention to gold, which continues to break new all-time highs. Eventually going to have a retrace, as I mentioned as well, just even to retest the previous high. Paying attention also to petrol. It's going to continue to be volatile. Yeah, we can at least go close to 65, so that's an opportunity in there. Then you can flip and you look at euro pairs, or the pound dollar pairs for regards to euro dollar, pound dollar, and so on. The yen pairs, I think they're going to be quite interesting as well to pay attention. CAD may continue to move lower. Yeah, that's basically what we have for next week. So yeah, good luck. Good luck. Continue to respect your strategy. Continue to find the opportunities. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. Also subscribe to the channel. I haven't really been that active in here. I've been active in other channels, but I'm planning to come back with more content in here as well. So yeah, feel free to share any recommendations as well. Alright guys, thank you very much. Enjoy, have a great week ahead. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll speak then soon. Thank you. Bye bye. Obrigado.